What's going on, everybody? This is your boy, Jonathan Evans. Listen, I'm excited about this one because we're going to learn the power of being you. Let's go. Listen, I struggled when it came to my calling. I struggled with the direction that I thought God was taking me into. I didn't want to do it. I ran for so long. I can tell you, when it comes to ministry, when it comes to speaking, when it comes to being on stages, when it comes to doing what you see me doing now and what God has called me to do, I used to run from it. I didn't want nothing to do with it because I watched my father and how he did what he did, and my mother and how they did what they did in ministry, and how successful they were and how big it was and all of the things that they accomplished. And I was like, I need to do something else. I need to do something else because I can't do it the way they do it. I can't grow it the way they grow it. I can't move forward the way they move forward. And it seems like that worked out for them. So let that be for them and let me move on to something else. And my mom caught me one day in this struggle, really talking myself out of my own calling, which some of us may be doing. Some of you may actually be talking yourself out of your own calling, because even though you have the ability, even though you have the giftedness, even though you have the opportunities, even though you have the experience, which is the mix master of your purpose, you're talking yourself out of it because what you see brings about fears and your insufficiencies. So you're thinking about your insufficiencies when you look at your calling. You're thinking about where you may be missing, where everything seems to be doing okay, where you're not satisfiable to make things satisfied. You're looking at yourself and you're looking at it the way I was looking at it. And my mom told me, what's the struggle? And I said, this is not something I can do. I can't do it the way y'all do it, the way y'all have grown it. And I was talking myself out of my own calling. And my mom simply said this. She said, what size shoe does your dad wear? I said, he wears 10 and a half. She said, what size shoes do you wear? I said, 13. She said, you try to wear his shoes, it's going to crush your feet. I said, ooh, woo. Lois Evans hit me in the throat on that one. What size shoe does your dad wear? 10 and a half. What size shoe do you wear? 13. You try to wear his shoes, it'll crush you. Most people don't go forward in their calling because they're trying to walk in somebody else's shoes, and it's crushing you. All the fear is based on what you see other people doing. All the insufficiencies you see in yourself is based on what you see as sufficient in somebody else. You're using somebody else and how they're doing in their calling and how they're using their platform to determine whether or not you can use the platform that God has given you. But God hasn't given you the same size shoe because he hasn't given you the same size foot. He wants you to step differently and walk differently based on him being able to use you the way that he made you. And it takes a level of maturity to understand that there is power in just being you. He drafted you and knew you before he formed you in your mother's womb. And out of 8 billion people on the earth, you are the only you that ever is, ever was, or ever will be. That's super unique. David realized that when it came to battle. He was with Saul in his court, and in 1 Samuel 17:38 through 39, Saul offered David his garments. He offered him his bronze helmet, his shield, all of the stuff that was kingly, that looked good for Saul. But David was mature enough as a kid to say, that's not my armor. That's too heavy for me. That won't work for me. That's not my experience. That's not my weapons. That's not what I can use to fight my battle. You cannot conquer what God is calling you to conquer wearing somebody else's armor. You need to learn that there's power in just being you. There's power in recognizing that God wants to use you the way that he made you, as long as the you that you are submitted like David was to his rule. David said, who is this uncircumcised Philistine that dares taunt the armies of the living God? David understood that the size of his problem, or the size of his calling, was connected to the size of his God, and God is much bigger. And God would use stones and slingshots. Who would have thought that he would use who David already is and already was? Who would have thought that he would already use David's experiences? David used the slingshot for the lion and the bear. David was used to this type of weapon. David was used to operating this way. And he wasn't going to change just because everybody else did things a certain way. What has God given you? What has God already put in your hands? What are the experiences you already have? What are the opportunities that you are given? What are the abilities that you've already been trained in? Sometimes it's the things that you used to get in trouble for as a kid that actually God has matured so that you can use it for triumph as an adult. David understood this and he said, I cannot continue to go forward. And the reason why a lot of people aren't able to go forward in a righteous calling is because they're trying to do it in an unrighteous way. They're trying to become and do it like somebody else. And I had to understand real quick that I would become a fad and not a person of faith if I was becoming like everybody else to try to accomplish a unique calling to me. And that's the problem. What are you looking at? The comparison game, social media, aren't you? You're looking at everybody else's followers and you're posting the same exact videos. You're looking at what everybody else is saying and you're trying to say the same thing. You're doing the song and the dance because you think that your calling is to repeat or be an echo of somebody else's voice. That's interesting. We put on what's common and expect a supernatural result. That's interesting. There's power in being you. There's power in recognizing who God has created you to be. And I'm not talking about the you that says, I'm going to do me. That spirit that says, oh, I'm just going to do me. Because that spirit can put you right in the middle of sin. That I'm going to do me spirit apart from God. I is right in the middle of the word sin. That spirit will put you right in the middle of sin. But when you come under God's authority and you recognize that God will use you the way that he made you, you don't want to be common and pray for a supernatural result. God is doing supernatural things in my life that I never dreamed of. But I was hiding behind my fears in the comparison of my parents and other people out there that were doing well. I felt like I was totally unneeded. And God said, let me just let me use you the way I made you. And I'll take care of the results. I'll take care of how this ends. I'll take care of where this goes. I will take care of how this grows. It's all on me. I just need you to be you. Under my authority. My daughter Kelsey wants me to let her do social media. And I said, well, why? She said, because I want to post. Like, I want to get a following. You know, it's the thing. You know what I mean? If you're not on social media, it's like, what? I'm a teenager. I can't do social media. I said, well, it depends. I saw her scrolling one day and she was scrolling. And I said, what are you doing? She said, I'm looking at other people's posts so that I know what to post. I said, yeah, you ain't ready. Because all you're going to do is become a trend or a fad. What you're saying is you have no idea who you are, and you need to let the people on social media tell you who you are so that you can show who you are, which will be who you're not. So when you learn how to submit yourself to God, you learn the talents and gifts that God has given you, and that you are here to advance his kingdom in the creative ways in which you feel like he's calling you to do that. When you learn who you are, you can post that. I'll get you social media when you don't want to be a fad. When you know that submitting yourself to him and doing what he calls you to do will put you in the place of faith. Fad or faith, you choose. Do you have faith in God to be the you that God has created you to be? And I told my daughter, you calling for social media, but you can't have it because social media will have you. Some of you can't have your calling because right now the comparisons have you. Some of you can't have the growth because right now the group has you. Some of you can't have what you're praying for and the purpose that you're praying for because you would rather be popular than be purposeful. And you've got on the wrong armor. It's heavy, isn't it? You can't move the way that you were created to move, can you? You're tired, aren't you? You're running out of gas. Yeah. Saul's armor is not yours. Wear your own. And when you figure that out, you'll see that God can do exceedingly abundantly beyond all that you can ask or think, according to the power that works in you. Listen, Be steadfast, unmovable, always abound in the work of the Lord, and know that it will not go in vain. If I can do it, you can do it, we can do it, and grow together. Listen, like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, share this video if it bless you and you know it'll bless other people. Let's do it together. Let's go. What's up, everybody? This is your boy, Jonathan Evans. Listen, join in, become a part of the team. Listen, we're growing together on this channel. This channel is for growing, you to grow, for me to grow. I want to see what you have to say in the comments. Share this video, like, share, subscribe, become a part of the team. Let's go.